Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Cronkite Sports Live. I'm Alex Caprariello. That's Jacob Franklin. Jacob, I gotta say, man, you're looking pretty buff lately. What's the secret to your success?
I didn't take anything.
You didn't take anything? You got something you want to tell me, buddy?
I plead the fifth.
He pleads the fifth. Okay, then. Unlike Jacob, the ASU women's basketball team won't be needing any extra help in Los Angeles for the final weekend of regular season games before the Pac-12 tournament. We'll now bring in our women's basketball correspondent, Troy Tauscher, to talk more about the team and what they'll need to do before they head to Seattle. Troy, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
No problem. Let's talk a little bit about the team. What sort of improvements do they need to make before the Pac-12 tournament and eventual NCAA tournament?
I mean, they're a really good team, and we've seen that with their record in the Pac-12 and with their ranking overall. I think two of the things that I'm looking at for them to improve are, number one, they got to get up there and they got to block some shots. Their interior defense has struggled a lot. They're great at getting shooters off the perimeter and stopping the three-point shot, but what I'm looking for is for them to do more on the interior, swipe at interior passes, block those layups and post-up attempts and do things like that and just shore up the defense. And the other thing I'm looking for is for Charlie Turner-Thorne to try to find exactly who she can rely on to score points as they go into tournament play. Sophie Bruner is the leading scorer for the team right now, and she only averages 11 points per game and is 23rd in the conference. And so as they go into the tournament, they need to figure out who they can rely upon to generate the offense they're going to need to beat some of these great teams. And so over the next couple games, I'm looking to see who gets a lot of shots and a lot of points and who they can rely on as they move forward.
All right, so as we head into this final stretch, let's talk about just the season in general. Can we be happy about it, or does the team need to earn some hardware in order for us to actually call it a success?
It's hard because they have enjoyed a lot of success. I mean, they were in the Sweet 16 last season. But at the same time, you're setting off a lot of seniors who you definitely want to give them something to remember by winning the Pac-12, by getting to the Elite Eight, by doing something like that. Now, there is value in being a team that among a sea of college programs is one of the top teams in the country. And so I think that even though it would be definitely nice to get some hardware and nice to find a goal, there's not a benchmark they need to cross where if they do this, the season is a success, and if they don't do it, it's a failure. I think it's just about them doing their best and letting whatever results they generate come up. So I think that some hardware is definitely a bonus, but that you can look upon this season and be very proud of what they've done regardless.
All right, Troy, great insight. Thanks for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
In other news, baseball has gotten its season underway. I'm joined here now by baseball analyst Taylor Rocha, who is here to break down the early part of the season. Thank you for being here, Taylor.
Thank you for having me.
So I know it's only been 5 games so far, but who have some of the standout players been for the Sun Devils this year?
Well, on the mound, we have Seth Martinez. He came out on his season debut and he killed it. He pitched 7 strong innings. He only gave up 4 hits and 1 unearned run. The Devils are looking for someone to take that spot as an ace after losing all of those players to the MLB draft. And I think that Martinez has a shot of being that person for ASU. On offense, we have David Greer and Colby Woodmansey. They were expected stars, and they're absolutely living up to the hype. We have Greer, who's hitting .533, and Colby Woodmansey, who has scored 9 runs in the last 5 games. Incredible. But if we're talking about a breakout player, I gotta give it to freshman Gage Canning. He's hitting .375, which is incredible because he's showing that he can be consistent with getting on base, which is exactly what the Devils need, and he's playing awesome right field. And so if he can continue doing what he's doing, he's going to be a really strong player come Pac-12.
We just saw the Sun Devils lose their first game of the season yesterday. What do the Sun Devils need to improve on moving forward into the season?
Well, they had no problem getting on base, but they did struggle with staying on base. They're going to have to tighten base running and get key hits with people to get runners in scoring position. The big question remains what they're going to do about their young pitching staff. They have their strong pitching played such a big role in their series sweep against Xavier. But on the other side, we saw them lose against Nevada, like you said, with freshman Fitz Stadler on the bump. defense was not helping him out. They made key errors, and that's going to lead to unearned runs. And you can't do that, especially when you have a freshman on the mound who's getting comfortable, making his first few starts. So you don't want your freshmen to look like freshmen. So ASU is just going to have to tighten things up, and I have no doubt they'll be able to do that.
We'll see if ASU can make those adjustments. But right now, to continue our baseball conversation, we bring in our Sun Devil beat reporter, Bobby Kraus, to tell us his thoughts on opening weekend.
Thanks a lot, Jacob. As Taylor mentioned, a lot of guys for ASU had a big first 5 games of the season, Colby Woodmansey, David Greer, and the likes. But this team is only going to go as far as the pitching staff will let them. And I'm going to expand on what Taylor mentioned a little bit. There were some questions after the first weekend. Ever Bueno had to leave his opening night start after 5 1/3 innings, partly due to control issues, partly due to an apparent arm injury. When I spoke to head coach Tracy Smith after Friday's game, he said that neither the team nor Bueno expected the injury to be anything noteworthy, so we'll see if that affects him starting on Friday to open the Long Beach State Series on the road for the Sun Devils. The other question will be who can seize the opening of the Sunday starter slot. And right now, that frontrunner would have to be Reagan Todd. He went 5 1/3 innings this past Sunday, giving up only 3 hits and no runs on the way to the sweep of Xavier for the Sun Devils. The other guys vying for that spot in freshman Fitz Stadler and Grant Schneider, they did disappoint over the weekend, having coughed up 6 earned runs in 4 innings pitched combined. There's going to be a lot of question marks for this team over the course of the entire season, but Tracy Smith's going to have to answer this one very quickly if he wants his Devils to contend in the vaunted Pac-12. That's all I got from the Diamond. Back to you guys at the desk.
From the baseball diamond back to the basketball court. The men's basketball season is wrapping up, and here to break down what to look for at the end of the season is correspondent Austin Burnett. Austin, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So over the last couple games, we've seen guard Trey Holder have a little bit of a decreased involvement in the offense. How has that impacted the Sun Devils?
Well, Trey Holder, he was really taking a lot of the team's shots to start at the beginning of the year. I think Coach Bobby Hurley has really told him to tone down the shots, spread the ball around, and get it to some other playmakers on the court. Key playmakers for the Sun Devils as of late, and of course throughout the whole entire season, have been sophomore guard Cody Justice and also senior guard Jerry Blakes. Jerry Blakes has really been one of the most reliable players for the Sun Devils, being he's a senior, and he has really been a standout from the three-point line. He's really developed his mid-range jumper, and one thing that's really been unexpected for a lot of Sun Devils fans, he can shoot the 3-ball. You know, he can shoot the 3-ball pretty well, and he's really developed that 3-point jump shot. Cody Justice, the sophomore, he's one of the very young players for this Sun Devil squad, and he has really been proven to be extremely consistent from the 3-point arc. He has been outstanding, he has been extremely consistent, and has really shown how much he has really matured throughout the course of the season.
As the Pac-12 tournament looms near, what are some of the strengths and weaknesses of this ASU team?
Well, some of the weaknesses for the Sun Devils heading into the Pac-12 tournament are the absence of post play. You know, yeah, they have Eric Jacobson, who's a senior forward, but they haven't really had that, you know, definite post play that they've really been expecting out of him. What also they've really been struggling with these past couple games, winding down the season, have been free throw percentage. They have been absolutely awful from the free throw line, and you know that may come back to bite them come Pac-12 tournament time. But there are some strengths to the Sun Devils here. Their strengths are going to have to come from their outside shooters and Cody Justice, like I said, and in Jerry Blakes, Willie Atwood, and more experienced players like Obina Oleka. So if they can manage to gel better toward Pac-12 tournament time, then it should be a very interesting run for the Sun Devils.
Well, thanks again, Austin, and we'll see how everything fares come Pac-12 tournament time next weekend.
All right, folks, now's the time for everyone's favorite game, The Way It Is. You know the drill. 5 questions, 5 answers, lightning fast responses. Let's get at it. Jacob, Sun Devil softball team is now 12 games in. Tell me, which pitcher has stood out the most to you?
I'm going to have to go with junior Kelsey Kessler. She looked a little shaky at the beginning of this season, but now she seems to come into her own. In her most recent start, she had 12 strikeouts in a shutout game. Alex, with the baseball season underway, how do you think the inexperienced outfield will fare when the stiff Pac-12 competition comes around?
Well, the outfield is definitely the question mark for the baseball team right now, but I was there in opening weekend, and they were covering a lot of ground and making some web gems out there, some great plays. So if they keep that up, I think they'll be just fine. Moving on to ASU Lacrosse, they were ranked number 3. They actually got their first loss of the season. Tell me, what positives, if any, can be taken from the loss?
Well, from the beginning of the season, we've all known that the defense is a really young defense. So we'll see. how they do for the rest of the season, but in their most recent game, the offense struggled and the defense actually kept them in the game. It might have been a showing, as the defense might have come into their own, but we'll see for the rest of the season. I think they're taking a step in the right direction. ASU men's basketball season is about to wrap up. In your opinion, would you consider Bobby Hurley's first season as head coach a success or a failure?
Well, you know, on paper, it's definitely not the season we were hoping for, but Coach Bobby Hurley has brought a new energy to that sideline, and if he keeps that up, I think we have a bright future. Final question. It's a fun one. I think you're going to like it. Who would win in a no-rules, anything-goes, bare-knuckle brawl between Coach Bobby Hurley and Olympian and newest assistant swim coach Michael Phelps?
I'm going to have to take ASU men's basketball head coach Bobby Hurley. He seems like the type of brawler from the East Coast. I know most people would probably say Michael Phelps because he's more athletic, younger, but Hurley, did you see him get fired up in that first Pac-12 game of the season?
I saw it.
I don't think I'd want to take that on.
That's good points, good points. Let's see who our winner will be. Come on now, come on now. Oh, yeah, baby, I like that. Let's do it. Last week, I had an opportunity to visit the Fisher Institute, a multi-purpose training facility dedicated to professional athletes and those that hope to one day make it to the professional level. While there, I saw 19 college football players from universities across the nation working out in preparation for the NFL Combine. 3 ASU Sun Devils were in attendance: DJ Foster, Mike Bercovici, and Gary Chambers. Now, although DJ Foster was the only one of the 3 to be officially invited to the Combine, I saw Bercovici and Chambers working just as hard, if not harder, than their counterparts. This comes despite the fact that many believe that they don't have a legitimate shot in actually making it to the pros. And when you look at the numbers, these critics kind of have a point. In reality, less than 2% of NCAA football players will actually make it onto an NFL lineup. Many ask, why even bother? But I don't blame Bercovici, Chambers, and the rest of these hopeful athletes for trying to beat the odds. These guys have played the sport their entire lives, and now it's time to put it all out there and reach for the stars. Heck, at least for guys like Bercovici and Chambers, if they fail to reach those stars among the bright lights of an NFL stadium, at least they can land comfortably on the college degrees they decided to earn prior to any football draft. And that is the way it is. On to our top plays. Jacob, why don't you start us off strong?
All right, well, we're going to open up with play number 3. Watch here, ASU football versus UCLA. Watch as Mike Bercovici fakes the read option to Demario Richard, takes it in, uncontested, into the end zone, touchdown, Sun Devils. That brings back some memories of football season. Yeah, it does. No one around him. Bercovici takes it in for the score against then number 7, UCLA.
It was a beautiful, beautiful game. We're going to keep it with the same game. Here we're going to see running back Kalen Balazs take a handoff from Bercovici and storm his way 27 yards with a pile of teammates pulling him all the way into the end zone. That is literally putting the team on your back. Watch again as Balazs backpedals, all bunch of his teammates getting in, including number 2 Bercovici, dragging him all the way for the touchdown, like Jacob said, for the upset against number 7 UCLA.
All right, from the football field to the volleyball court for our number 1 play. Watch here as Macy Gardner powers her 1,872nd kill, a school record through the arms of a California Golden Bear block. Macy is definitely one of the best players to ever don the maroon and gold here at ASU, and that moment will go down in Sun Devil history.
Well, folks, that's our show. Jacob, I gotta say, really strong performance from you. Are you sure there's not anything you want to tell me?
I said I plead the fifth!
Okay, take it easy there, Roid Rage. I'm Alex Caprariello.
And I'm Jacob Franklin. We'll catch you next time.